Hey, are you okay? Those words are something you've been longing to hear, aren't they? The same words you give to everyone else in pain but never receive back. You tell yourself you're fine, that you need to keep being strong for yourself because no one else would do it for you. But deep down, your soul is jealous of the people receiving care without even having to try, of the people having their pain validated while yours is ignored. Even of the very people you comfort. So you think to yourself, what about me? Why couldn't that be me? First of all, you see people out there with problems you perceive as lesser than yours, yet they gain the most sympathy. And when you do tell people just a fraction of what you're feeling, all they say is, you're so strong for enduring everything, and they leave it at that, as if that makes everything better. What you need is not acknowledgement of your strength, but for someone to see your pain and hold your hand, because strength is born from the need to survive danger, and you're tired of just surviving. Even so, for some of us, that is our only choice, to keep fighting, to keep dragging your tired body, to keep hiding your pain. But what if you don't need to be strong? That maybe breaking is okay. Maybe by breaking, you stop pretending everything's fine and that you need help. But even then, you're too afraid to let yourself fall, don't you? Life would be so much easier if we could just let people know what we're going through. But it was never as simple as that. Some people don't have the capacity to understand what we're carrying. If it were something as visible as heartbreak, a physical injury, or losing a loved one, it would be so much easier to gain sympathy. Those kinds of experiences are automatically valid because they're what everyone goes through. But for some of us, the wounds we receive were much deeper than that. Much more complicated, much harder for someone to understand. Wounds aren't always visible because some of them can come from words and from how others made us feel. Maybe once in the past, you were made to feel like a mistake. Maybe you were neglected, abandoned, or became someone's target for harsh words. And when you try to open up to someone, you just end up sounding ridiculous. To them, it would seem you are the way you are now just because someone in the past told you a few mean words, or how someone hurt you in ways that shouldn't matter now because of how much time has passed. To them, you're someone who's willingly making yourself miserable by clinging to something smaller than what it really is. But the pain we carry isn't about the events that inflicted those wounds themselves. It's about how our lives become after those events. Oftentimes, pain in a moment isn't what truly hurts us. It's how we were made to feel so helpless, unsafe, and alone for such a long time. It's the aftermath of the event. And as more time passes, the wound that was never healed spreads and branches into new wounds. You're now wary, hyper-vigilant of everything. Before you know it, you don't know what's the cause of your pain anymore. Because there are too many to keep count. All you know is that you're hurting. That's why our pain sounds shallow to everyone else. Because we ourselves don't even know how to phrase it. And that's when we learn to believe no one would really understand the burdens we carry. Even more so, we're afraid to be misunderstood and sound so shallow to everyone else. So all we can do is carry it ourselves and to stay strong. We don't stay strong because we want to. It's because we have to. Some of us believe that people have already proven that they don't care about what we're going through, so we can't rely on others to catch us when we fall. Not only that, we're also afraid that once we do fall, there's no getting back up. You remember all those quiet nights where only the sounds of your cries could be heard. You know how it feels to break, even if not completely. But what if you do? The thought of letting out all your fears and pain that's been simmering for too long feels terrifying. So we never let ourselves falter and pretend we're just fine. Still, we ache in our hearts for someone to understand us. So we become the person our little selves needed. Being there for others in their lowest, making sure they don't go through things alone, and telling them what they need to hear. Except, it's not just about what they need to hear. You're saying something you wish someone would tell you, back then when you were still hurting. We project and we pretend that the person we're helping is ourselves, that maybe, in some way, helping others that way would heal us. And that's when you found out it doesn't. Helping others doesn't heal your own wounds. And then you go back to staying strong, no matter how repulsive that word sounds to your ears. But even then, with everything you went through, you can't help but think, where is your justice? We watch others and wonder why their struggle seems easier. Someone wrongs them and people immediately rally to their side, saying they didn't deserve this. And here we are, quietly observing, thinking to ourselves, if that counts as pain, what about mine? Pain should never be compared. Just because someone hurts more than the other doesn't mean the lesser is invalid. But with how unfair things are, you can't help but think otherwise. Why does it always seem that the people who are hurting more gets overshadowed by those who are hurting less? Is it because they're much easier to solve? A simple scratch could be treated with just a bandage. Anyone could offer to treat it, but only a few would want to deal with someone who's slowly bleeding out. Maybe that's one of the many reasons why no one wants to listen to your pain. Just for someone to say that everything we went through is real would be enough, wouldn't it? So we wait, and we wait, until that facade of normality slowly cracks. Smiling becomes harder, being present becomes exhausting, and holding it all feels unbearable. But the world doesn't pause for your pain. People go on, laughing, living, assuming you're fine because that's what you've shown them. And so you hold on, even at the verge of breaking. But what if instead of trying to keep the pieces from breaking, you let them fall, one by one? Sometimes we have to be honest with ourselves, even if the cost of honesty is breaking. We carry ourselves alone because we're afraid that we won't be able to get back once we fall. We become strong, not out of choice, but because the alternative is disappearing without leaving proof of our pain and existence. We suffer in silence just so we don't break. But breaking doesn't just mean crumbling and falling apart. Breaking can mean finally admitting that the pain exists, not only to yourself, but to the people around you. The same people who have no idea of the terrible, terrible things you tell yourself. And maybe breaking is how you stop pretending that you don't need help. It's true that our problems may be too complicated for anyone to ever fully comprehend. But the thing is, you don't need to make anyone fully understand. You don't have to spill all your darkest thoughts all at once to someone who may never get what you're going through. Because some people just won't. What others can understand is when someone is hurting. And at the same time, they won't know if you never let it show. So maybe, instead of going to extremes of either hiding your wounds completely or bleeding out entirely, you can simply say, I'm not okay. And maybe, that's enough. So, it's about letting yourself break bit by bit in your own time and allowing yourself to seek help instead of denying it. Most people push the idea that no one's coming to save you. Sometimes they even blame you for your own misfortunes, saying that you did this to yourself. Some even say you deserve it for refusing to do anything about it. I know that, because I used to believe in that too. But at a time since, I've learned that even if some people don't seem to care, there are some who will lend a hand if you just hold out yours. Someone willing to stand by your side even if they don't see the full picture. They can remind you that you don't have to carry everything alone, that you don't have to try too hard just so you can feel an ounce of care. And that's why I say, no one's coming to save you, but someone out there can help you save yourself.